Some people say that who you are is shaped by the experiences you have. To that, I say there is some merit, but I do believe that much of our personality is bred into us. The way one contextualizes an experience can also be the sign of a personality. To one, a tragic experience could be a curse from a higher being, showing contempt and hatred toward you in the form of your experiences. All the while, another who might be in the same position would see this same experience as a sign of love from beyond, someone who cares enough to teach. Pain can teach. It's a very good teacher, and sometimes the idea that all pain comes from malice is a lie. How we choose to view things is as important as the things we view, and this can be bred into us, but not primarily in a genetic sense, more spiritual. Who we are and who we choose to be is entirely up to us. In the hack-and-slash game Devil May Cry, one of the chief antagonists, the brother of the hero Dante, has this to say about his brother. That day, if our positions were switched, would our fates be different? Would I have your life and you mine? And the answer, my dear Virgil, is likely no. Dante experienced the same pain and chose to love, while Virgil let his aspirations become his motivation. In this What If series, we're taking Naruto and Sasuke and switching their position to see what might change and what might not. And one thing I'm pretty certain about is that Naruto and Sasuke will not change. But then again, only time will tell. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed, and with that out of the way, let's get into the video. They were doing standard work, walking dogs and picking up litter. The life of a genin was simple. Kakashi mused over it, thinking about the lives of Chunin and Jonin. Genin always started here. It was something originally put into place by Hashirama Senju. You see, in the past, wars were waged and children were conscripted to do this dangerous work. Hashirama Senju and his brothers were among the children conscripted. He had to watch the life leave his brother's eyes. He had to kill and be wounded. Madara, despite his villainous and treacherous side, held the same belief. Together they wished to found a village where children may never need fight again. That being said, there was no rule that they couldn't be shinobi still. That's why the ranking system was introduced. In the Warring States period, the ranking system was a very loose thing, based solely upon experience and partly on the standard military ranking system. This was still true to this day. There was a rough ranking system, but it was more defined in role and status. Genin, Chunin, Jonin. These were the three ranks, and within each rank, there was a humble hierarchy based upon experience. An honor system. You were judged on your merits and wisdom, as well as your strength. The strong, wise, and elders of the group led. The younger, weaker, and more ignorant followed. It was this ranking system that gave purpose to any shinobi, as it further determined the rank of mission that a shinobi could take on. Genin were your newbies, fresh meat, generally consisting of children, adults with the minds of children, and those who were either too incompetent or too young to take on a higher role. This rank was in its own way protected. Children would not be allowed to take missions of a higher rank, and the rank at which the genin could not go past was any rank which saw the inclusion of a hostile military force. While they were expected to be able to take care of bandits and highwaymen, they were not expected to face any other shinobi. Due to this, missions for genin were rarely dangerous and tended to stick to community service. This tended to see the more ambitious of the children cry out for new missions with more danger. This was both funny and ironic. As to what Kakashi could attest, higher-ranking shinobi tended to wish to take it easy. The ranking system was full of envy. The grass was always greener on the other side. Genin wanted the dangerous missions of experienced Chunin and Jonin, but experienced Chunin and Jonin wished to have the simple tasks of a genin. Kakashi watched as his team was doing one of those simple tasks now. Naruto, quiet as ever, picked up trash. He seemed content with this. Sasuke, as angry as ever, seemed to wish to force every villager he saw to swallow the trash he picked up, and Sakura, well, she was just wherever Sasuke was. But Kakashi's eye was more on Naruto right now. The boy seemed so content, doing nothing. Kakashi wondered why Naruto was a shinobi at all right now. He didn't seem to have the heart for it, so why did he continue? Well, the answer was Naruto was raised to be a shinobi by his father, and Naruto was still taking that role. As Kakashi watched, he recognized why Naruto was still a shinobi. Naruto had no direction. He had nobody to tell him where to go or what to do. The last orders he received from his parents were to become a shinobi. And being set on that course, nobody had told Naruto to get off of it. Perhaps Naruto was a shinobi now because he knew that he needed people to tell him what to do. These ninja ranks, they were a surrogate parent to Naruto, a surrogate family. Naruto was seeking in this position what he had lost on the night of the massacre. Naruto had not been the same since then. Post-traumatic stress had eaten him up, and now he sat there doing his tasks. He appeared as a hollow shell without a will of his own. He neither wanted to do more nor to grow. He sought only direction. This wasn't something Kakashi couldn't understand. Kakashi himself had experienced the same pains. The pain of death, the pain of loss, and though his response was different, Kakashi knew why Naruto was doing this. Kakashi thought back on how he had overcome this feeling. It was truly a wound that only time could heal. But in the meantime, he needed Naruto to take his mind off of this and focus on the here and now. Looking over at Sasuke, he saw that he wasn't doing very well mentally either. They needed something more. They needed a mission outside of the village, a place where they could leave their issues behind. A place where Sasuke could be unrecognized and free to act as a normal kid did, and a place where Naruto could not be reminded of the trials and tribulations he had faced previously. They needed a work-based vacation, a fun adventure that allowed them to serve the village without having to face all the things that bothered them. This is why, when Kakashi went to receive the next mission from Hiruzen, that he noticed there was an escort mission that just barely fell into the ranks of Genin. A mission to deliver a man back to his village, with the only expected threats to be potential robbers and thieves. "This is perfect," he said as he looked it over. Hiruzen raised a brow. "Are you sure that's wise, Kakashi? Your team is untested." Kakashi nodded. "It is. My team is very emotionally unwell. They're children who have experienced the world in ways most children never do, and that's caused them to develop anxiety and stress. I think that it would be best for them if I took them somewhere outside of the village, with a new objective that they can focus on. An objective that gets their minds off of themselves and right onto the here and now. Something fun that they can enjoy. Naruto and Sasuke are both suffering in two very different ways over the same issue: loneliness. I feel like if, by taking them all out together, that I can foster a form of familial bond that should help Naruto have peace and cause Sasuke to realize that not everyone in the village is his enemy." Hiruzen smiled as he chewed on the tip of his pipe. "You really have changed, Kakashi. For the better. Caring for and understanding others. I always knew you could do it, that you would be able to. You never could hide your heart from me." Kakashi offered a solemn smile, given away only by the corners of his eye. Hiruzen took the mission in his hands, wrote something on it, and then stamped it with his seal of approval. Giving it to Kakashi, he told him that he was free to start the mission at his leisure. So to that, he went back to his team and began to explain it to them, telling them to return home to pack, which they did. By midday, they began to leave the village, headed for the village of the Land of Waves. As they traversed the road, the team was very quiet. Naruto didn't want to talk, Sasuke refused to, and Sakura had no reason to. Kakashi decided for the moment to leave them to their own devices, but he also thought that after the mission, since they had many more days than he knew they'd require, something Hiruzen set up for them out of the kindness of his heart, Kakashi thought they might stop off somewhere nice to let them relax and bond, to play and be what they were, kids. But as they moved through the densely forested area, he spotted a puddle of water in a somewhat dry location. It was so out of place that Kakashi saw it as a rookie move on the part of someone with chakra training. This was likely to be an attack, but what kind? Was it possible that this was one or more bandits with the ability to mold chakra? This sort of technique was shinobi level. Perhaps a shinobi dropout, a prodigious private citizen, or worse, an actual shinobi. Kakashi knew this was dangerous, and it seemed that so far his team had yet to notice. Kakashi stepped up to Naruto and Sasuke, who were both leading the party, and put his hands on them. "What do you see?" he asked. Brought back into the moment, both noticed the puddle. "That's unusual," Sasuke said, catching on quickly. His foot tested the dirt and found no moisture, but only dry dust. "It hasn't rained in quite some time, so why is there a puddle?" As if his question had drawn the shinobi's attention, and perhaps it had if they were good listeners, two shinobi emerged from the puddle, both chained by their massive gauntlets. Kakashi would pull Naruto and Sasuke back, pushing them toward the back of the party in Tazuna's direction, of which Sakura was already defending. Kakashi rushed into position to defend his team. As he raced up to meet them, he pushed their two gauntlets away from him so he could pass between them. He then grabbed the chain linking them together and offered a bit of a mid-air spin to drag them down and smash them into the ground. Stunned by the impact, neither rogue shinobi could defend themselves when Kakashi continued his attack. Beating them unconscious, he tied them up and left them by the side of the road. He then proceeded to ask Tazuna what he knew about this. Tazuna claimed to have known nothing, that this was just a coincidence. Kakashi, however, wasn't so sure he believed him, as these two shinobi were found in the bingo book. They were rogue shinobi from the Land of Water who had gone into the mercenary and bounty hunting business. They were hired hands, not common thieves, so there was no way they didn't have a reason to try to kill Tazuna. But Tazuna stood his ground and said that it was hard times in these parts and that crime was an up-and-coming business. Perhaps these two simply needed the money. Kakashi decided to let the conversation go. They continued on down the road. That was until they found another shinobi in their way, Zabuza Momochi. This was no petty thief, Kakashi knew. This was one of the most elite of all shinobi in the Hidden Mist, a former member of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen, the infamously cruel demon of the Blood Mist himself. Looking over at Tazuna with a skeptical stare, he looked back at Zabuza. "What business do you have with us?" Kakashi asked. "Simply to take the life and head of one old man. If you and your team wish to survive, I suggest stepping to the side and giving me what I came for." "I can't do that. We're still on mission to protect this man and bring him to his village." "You're out of your league here, copy ninja. Word of your exploits has traveled far and wide, but your effectiveness is lowered by your inexperienced team. For their sake, as well as your own, move to the side. Give me Tazuna, and I promise I'll let you go unharmed." Kakashi crossed his arms in a defiant manner. "As I said, we're still on mission." Zabuza was silent for a moment. "I take that to mean you choose death, not only for yourself, but for the innocent genin behind you, that look up to you for guidance, protection." Kakashi stood there and sighed. "My name is Kakashi. That means scarecrow. As such, I know a straw man when I see it. You can't seem to grasp that my choice is to complete my mission. The only one choosing death here is you." Zabuza smiled. "At least you've got spirit." Zabuza jumped down, bringing his sword with him. Landing on the ground, he drew closer, pulling the tip of the blade along the ground, creating a snake-like trail behind him. Kakashi spoke. "Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, take Tazuna and move back. Keep yourselves and him safe. I'll deal with Zabuza." The trio acknowledged this and did as commanded. Kakashi walked forward, getting within reach of Zabuza. As he did, they both stood there, looking at each other. "This is your last chance. I'll let you go, but you should know, if you continue on this course, I'll be collecting your bounty. I could use a new apartment." Zabuza smirked. "I'm sure Iwa would love to get their hands on you. Or perhaps I can send you to Kumo. They seem very interested in the concept of dojutsu, and I'm sure they'll enjoy that Sharingan of yours." Kakashi raised his brow. "Sharingan?" Zabuza scoffed. "Don't hide it. Everyone knows you've got one. You're the copy ninja for a reason. They don't call you Kakashi of the Sharingan Eye for nothing." Zabuza continued to think about it. "You know, maybe instead of selling you to Kumo, I'll keep that eye for myself. Imagine that. Zabuza Momochi, demon of the Sharingan Eye." Kakashi took a deep breath and let out a sigh. Raising his forehead protector to expose his Sharingan, he spoke. "Let's hope you can actually beat me like this." The two went to battle against each other. As they fought, Kakashi seemed to be running laps around Zabuza. All the while, Naruto watched closely, noting his mentor's use of the same dojutsu that he had. There had been a rumor that the Sharingan could even see into the future, and though this was an exaggeration, at least for the base form of the Sharingan, Kakashi was using this old wives' tale on Zabuza, trying to stoke his superstitions, make him lose hope. An adversary that lacked hope was one easily trounced. To that end, Kakashi managed to both mimic and complete the Water Dragon Bullet technique far more quickly than even Zabuza, who originated the technique. Kakashi thought he had it all sewed up, but that's when Zabuza conquered his superstitions and began to take the lead. By the end of it, after creating a dense fog, Zabuza managed to lock Kakashi away in a water prison. Kakashi had no way to escape so long as Zabuza held his hand to the sphere. Kakashi looked over and saw his team beginning to panic. Sasuke was the first to rush forward, though Naruto soon after followed. However, despite their desire to help them, their cracked mental states kept them from fully committing to any plans. Naruto's confidence was too low and Sasuke's was too high. Kakashi knew Sasuke couldn't do it alone and would be killed. "I don't know if I have enough chakra left, but I could at least try," Kakashi thought to himself as he began to gather his chakra. He didn't have much left, as the Sharingan drained more of it than it should in one with transplants. He had only one last chance, and that was the Mangekyo, but the use of that would suck up so much chakra that he could possibly die. But there was no other choice. He had to do it. Calming himself, he activated the Mangekyo Sharingan. He didn't have enough chakra to teleport all of Zabuza, so he focused on the one thing he was required to, his hand. While Zabuza was too busy paying attention to Sasuke and Naruto, Kakashi utilized the Kamui technique to sever Zabuza's hand, sending it to another dimension. Zabuza reeled in pain, causing the sphere of water to dissipate. Zabuza, seeing this, knew he was done for if he stayed. Taking up his blade, he began to make a hasty retreat before Sasuke could get to him. Kakashi fell forward only to be caught by Sasuke. I think I need to lay down, he said before passing out. Tazuna, seeing this, rushed over and picked Kakashi up. My home isn't too far away. Let's get him there. Getting to the home, they laid Kakashi down to rest. All the while, Sasuke was upset. Why didn't you help me, Naruto? Naruto tried not to make any real eye contact with Sasuke. Sorry, You just what? Naruto didn't respond. You got scared and refused to fight back. And now because of you, our master's incapacitated. He might even die. What do you have to say about that? Naruto's eyes began to overrun with tears. Sakura stepped in. Leave him alone, Sasuke. He can't help what he is. Sasuke looked down at Naruto. Excuses. He walked away. Sakura tried to comfort Naruto, but what could she really do? As Kakashi rested for the day, he woke up the next day by supper time and was capable of speech. During which he told Sakura that he didn't want his team sitting around doing nothing. He wanted them to be productive, so he put her in charge of teaching them lessons. He said that now was the perfect time to teach chakra control. He told her to take them out and have them attempt to better learn to control their chakra on the palms of their hands and the soles of their feet. Sakura understood, and so after supper she took them out to try. The best she could do was explain to them what the principles of the exercises were and let them figure it out through trial and error. Consider your chakra to be a sort of magnet. It coils around your hands and feet. You can use it to stick to surfaces or stand on water. Depending on how much you use and what polarity you desire, you'll either find yourself sticking to a surface or being pushed away from it. Chakra control is necessary for all ninjutsu, as it's the fuel of them. To be able to properly utilize ninjutsu, one has to be able to control their chakra. Too much chakra in a technique and you waste it. Or worse, the ninjutsu might explode in your face. Too little chakra and it won't even activate at all. What you need to do is find the balance, get a feel for what's required, and begin to perfect it. Start by walking up these trees. She demonstrated it. Now I want you guys to do the same. They began. Immediately, Sakura noticed the issue. Sasuke used too much chakra and Naruto didn't use enough. Naruto, increase how much chakra you use. Sasuke, reduce your volume. They continued to work on it, but didn't seem to be getting anywhere. At a certain point, Sakura seemed like she might fall asleep. Finding a place to sit down, she rested her eyes while the two worked on this further. As they did, they hit the ground again. Naruto, growing frustrated, activated his Sharingan in determination, but he didn't seem to get anywhere. In fact, he did worse than before. Despite this, Sasuke noticed. You've got the same dojutsu as our master. Naruto looked over and nodded. Where did you get them? Sasuke asked. I was born with the potential to awaken them. It's a part of my clan. Your clan? Sasuke asked. Naruto nodded. The Uchiha. Sasuke thought about it. They sound familiar, but why can't I place where I've heard of them? Are they a large clan or relatively small? Naruto looked down. They're extinct. I'm all that's left. Sasuke seemed confused. No family? No parents or siblings? The mere mention of such a thing seemed to set Naruto off emotionally. This was something that Sasuke noticed. Naruto felt his heart race, his breathing quickened. It was as if he were back in the moment. Sasuke realized Naruto was beginning to have a panic attack. Naruto! Naruto looked over at Sasuke, who then spoke to him. You're okay. Naruto slowly began to calm a bit. He took a deep breath and stabilized himself emotionally. He tried to control his emotions as he spoke. My family is dead. All killed. The whole clan. I watched it happen. I see it every night. Is that why you don't sleep? Sasuke asked. Naruto nodded. Every time I close my eyes, I see the same scene play out in my head. Murder, death, screaming in terror. I watch my parents die by the hands of my own... Sasuke's interest was piqued by what Naruto failed to say. Your own what? Naruto looked like he might break down into tears. My own brother. Sasuke was appalled. You mean your own brother was responsible for massacring your entire clan? Your family? And you watched him do it? Naruto's eyes began to run over with tears as his body began to panic again. He nodded. My brother demanded that I become a small shinobi and prepare, because he said he would come back at a later time to kill me. He said that without the Mangekyo Sharingan, I'd have no chance. I would die. Naruto looked like he was about to have a breakdown. I need to know how Master got his Mangekyo Sharingan. I need it or I'll die. Sasuke began to understand why Naruto was the way he was. He had come so close to death before, and now he was terrified. He was fighting demons in his own head every day, and that was draining him of his vigor and vitality. I guess we're both similar in a way, Sasuke said. We've both been done wrong by people who are supposed to love us. The village treats me like I'm a devil or something. I don't know why. Naruto looked up. I'm sorry. I don't think you're a devil, whatever that's worth. Sasuke smiled. Thanks. Naruto looked down. I don't know when Itachi will come back. I don't know when he'll try to kill me. He looked over at Sasuke. If I die, will you promise me that you'll look over my parents' grave? I don't want it becoming overrun with weeds. I don't want the Uchiha to be forgotten. Sasuke shook his head. You won't die. I'll make sure of that. We'll figure it out. I won't let your brother kill you. Naruto smiled. Thank you, but I don't know what you can do to stop him. He was strong enough to kill all of the best shinobi in the village. I don't even know if Kakashi-sensei could beat him. Sasuke sighed. We'll figure it out, Naruto. Nobody's gonna let anything happen to you. Sasuke stood and walked over to Naruto. Extending his hand out, he took him by the hand and raised him off the ground. Now, let's finish our training. All the while, Sakura had one eye just barely open, watching and listening to it all, her lips slightly curled up into a smile. The next day came quickly. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were up, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Kakashi was finally back into the swing of things as well. As Kakashi got up and headed to the kitchen to get some breakfast, he noticed Naruto and Sasuke sitting by the table, playfully teasing each other, pushing each other around, and roughhousing as their peers normally would. This brought some warmth to his heart. He then whispered to Sakura, "What happened here?" Sakura looked up at her sensei. They broke the ice. Kakashi smiled and grabbed something to eat. After this, they all headed out to the bridge with Tazuna to continue building. They continued to watch, waiting should any enemies arrive. Kakashi had told them to be very careful as Zabuza could reappear, or whoever wanted Tazuna dead might bring their full forces to bear. Naruto sat by the edge of the bridge, looking out over the water below. From what he gathered, this channel of water that separated the mainland from the village was what limited commerce. For any to provide for the market, they had to cross this expanse of water, which required a ferryman. That ferryman was Gato, the current crime syndicate leader of this area. He charged a lot to cross, and further had the village in a death grip, demanding tribute for protection. That being said, the only protection they were paying for was protection from him and his people, but even then, there wasn't much protection there. They came and went and did as they pleased. They were leeching off the people and sucking them dry of all funds. It wouldn't be long until this place completely collapsed, and if that happened, Naruto wondered what might happen next. Would they move on to the next town, or would they completely restructure the village, turning it into their own personal haven, becoming a criminal country to themselves? This bridge was the nexus of the future. This bridge could bankrupt Gato. Without the need for his ferry services, it stood to reason that they could all make enough money to hire better guards for their village. But all in all, Naruto wondered why the building of the bridge was such a big deal anyway. If Gato were working illegally and forcing people to use the ferry, what stopped him from imposing a toll on this bridge? Why did this bridge mean the people would be free of him? Maybe there was something Naruto was missing, but all he knew was that the people were sure that this bridge would free them. Maybe it wasn't so. Maybe this bridge symbolized hope, a hope to one day be free from the tyranny of the crime lord, and maybe his attempt to squash it was an attempt to make people give up hope that they could ever be free. As Naruto thought about these things, a sinister wind blew across the bridge, bringing a chill to the summer air, as if a typhoon were on the way. Looking to his right, back toward the village, he saw a man in a mask standing there. Naruto stepped away from the rail of the bridge and moved a little closer to the center. As the strange masked individual began making his way closer, Naruto called out, trying to draw attention. Guys! Everyone turned to look at the approaching shinobi. As Kakashi turned to look, he suddenly sensed something behind him. He ducked his head. As he did so, a massive blade swung across, barely missing his head, taking a few hairs off the top. Kakashi stepped forward and looked back to see Zabuza standing there, one hand holding his blade and the other wrapped up from having lost everything below the wrist. "I'm surprised you can still fight," Kakashi said. "You should have cut your losses and went home." Zabuza scoffed. "I can't leave until I'm paid, and Gato isn't the only one with a debt to pay. I don't plan to leave until I give you an amputation to match mine." "Sorry, I like my hands," Kakashi said. "You can keep your hands. I'm gonna take your head." Zabuza swung his blade again. Elsewhere, Naruto and Sasuke were preparing to face Haku. The masked boy held between each finger a senbon. This was an unusual weapon to say the least. They weren't normally fatal and had a very high accuracy requirement to be effective, which either meant that this boy was a non-threat or was perhaps the most threatening shinobi on the battlefield. Naruto activated his Sharingan, assuming the latter just to be safe. It was a good thing he did too, because as the senbon rushed past, Naruto could tell that had he and Sasuke not dodged, they would have struck vital organs. But as Haku grew closer, it was becoming harder and harder to deal with. "You move around too much," Haku said from under the mask. He then began weaving hand signs, which summoned a giant dome of mirrors made from ice. This was Haku's signature move. Merging into one of the mirrors, he appeared in the reflection of every other mirror. Sasuke looked around, uncertain where Haku was coming from. All the while, Naruto's Sharingan was scanning the area, searching for the real Haku, but he couldn't find him. "Where is he, Naruto?" Sasuke demanded. "I can't tell," Naruto said, a slight panic in his voice followed by anger. Anger at his own uselessness. The senbon began to fly. Naruto dodged out of the way, but Sasuke took one to the shoulder, causing his left arm to go limp. Naruto was shocked. When the next volley of senbon came for them, Naruto once more dodged, but this time threw some kunai to cover Sasuke. He knew that he couldn't keep this up forever. Eventually, he did. Without any other options, and given that Sasuke now had no way of defending himself, Naruto knew the only option was to break out. Sasuke, fireball! Sasuke looked at Naruto. I only have one hand, I can't make the sign. Naruto rushed over. Offering his hand, together they weaved the sign. They then began to blow fire at the mirrors, hoping that their combined ninjutsu might melt them. But to their horror, they didn't melt. Through the flames, another group of senbon came flying. Naruto saw them. They were headed for Sasuke, and Sasuke couldn't see them. Lacking time and options, Naruto pushed Sasuke away, causing him to fall to the ground. Naruto, however, was unable to avoid being struck. He was hit by the senbon. He felt the senbon strike various internal organs. This had to be fatal. Sasuke sat up and looked at Naruto. They both exchanged a look of terror. Naruto's knees, weak and shaking, began to collapse. Sasuke caught him. There was so much blood. Naruto! Naruto, startled and looking at the blood, grew scared. I don't want to die, he said. The pain suddenly hit him all at once as his body spasmed. It was then that Naruto's mind was overcome with panic. Sasuke tried to calm him. You're okay, Naruto. You're gonna be fine. Remember what I told you. I won't let anyone hurt you. Naruto's eyes began to roll up. Sasuke! Naruto's eyes closed. Naruto! Naruto! Naruto didn't move. Haku looked on. He was a brave shinobi. You should be proud. Sasuke didn't hear him though. His own heartbeat began to thud, like the drums of war in his ears. His anger caused his body heat to rise dramatically, and it continued to rise. Sasuke felt like he was on fire, and in a way he was. The heat of the chakra radiating off of him surpassed the flames Naruto and he had shot together. Haku was confused and took some steps back. Sasuke looked up at Haku, his cheeks possessing the lines of an enraged fox. His pupils were slit as his teeth were fangs. His fingernails grew into claws. I'll murder you, he said. Haku got into a defensive position. Sasuke broke into a dash and smashed into Haku before he could even see it coming. Haku went flying. As he skid across the ground, Sasuke began to approach. Haku's mask shattered and fell to the side. Sasuke saw Haku's true face, but nothing changed. There was no pity in Sasuke's heart, only hatred. Coming to his floored opponent, he proceeded to strangle him. Haku struggled, pulling senbon, attempting to stab Sasuke, only for the force of his chakra to push the weapons away. By the end, Haku had given up all hope of countering with an attack. Sasuke jerked Haku's head about until he heard an unsettling snap. Haku's eyes glazed over as his body went limp. Sasuke rose from the ground and let out a howl. It was then that he spotted Zabuza in the distance. Zabuza was the reason Sasuke was feeling this pain. It was Zabuza who brought Haku who killed Naruto. Sasuke would kill Zabuza as well. Sasuke rushed at Zabuza on all fours, who would swing his blade at Sasuke, attempting to cleave him in two. But Sasuke dodged and moved under the strike. Due to only having one arm, Zabuza couldn't correct his attack well enough to defend. Sasuke jumped up onto the man and bit into his neck, shredding his jugular and carotid arteries at the same time. This caused a massive expulsion of blood that Zabuza couldn't control or stop. Sasuke rose up off of Zabuza and watched his body go limp. At about this time, Gato and his men arrived as backup. Sasuke noticed them. His rage had not yet been satiated. Fully giving himself over to the Nine Tails, he rushed headlong into battle against them, despite Kakashi's objections. Sasuke jumped into the thickest lot of them and began biting, tearing, and ripping them to shreds. They retaliated with their weapons, wounding, cutting, and even stabbing Sasuke, but everything they did was soon repaired by the chakra of the Nine Tails. Worse still, they were enraging him further. It was then that Sasuke began to develop his version 2 chakra cloak. The shell was then too tough for them to pierce. Sasuke was so strong by this time that even the group together didn't stand a chance. Gato perished, as did most of his captains. By the time everyone realized what was going on, most of them were dead. The few that survived fell into the water or retreated back to the boat. When they'd all been pushed back, there was a deathly silence. A silence and a quiet gurgling sound from the chakra of the version 2 Sasuke. Kakashi was startled. He raised his forehead protector to display his Sharingan. He knew that Sasuke needed to be reeled in before this got out of hand. That's why he was chosen to train this team, to mentor Naruto and to reel in Sasuke should the Nine Tails try to escape. Activating his Mangekyou Sharingan, Kakashi called out, "Sasuke!" The beast looked over and saw Kakashi. Crashing out further, Sasuke now no longer had any sense of control or reason over his rage, and proceeded to try to attack Kakashi. Before he could strike, Kakashi cast Genjutsu, causing him to go down. Sasuke hit the ground and skidded to a stop. The cloak began to dissipate, but he seemed badly burned. It was at this time that Sakura called out to Kakashi. "Naruto's still alive!" she shouted. Kakashi sighed in relief. He'd nearly lost control of the situation. What was supposed to be a simple escort mission ended up becoming far more than that. Thankfully, the team was resilient enough to handle it, but now they were hurt. Kakashi lifted Sasuke up into his arms and carried him back to where Naruto was. Naruto was still unconscious, but he was breathing. Sakura had taken the senbon out, and it seemed that this was all that was required to bring back vital signs. We need to get back to the village. I think these two need the hospital. And that's where I plan to call it for today. The scary thing about Sasuke with the Ninetales is, unlike Naruto, Sasuke doesn't have the kind disposition that helps him reel the Ninetales rage back in. Sasuke has enough anger in his heart to let it out and run wild. But to a degree, this makes me wonder if he would do better at controlling it, unlike Naruto, because I feel that against the Ninetales, Sasuke's personality would both be better respected, as well as in better control. So as long as Sasuke doesn't lose control, he could always be in control himself, you know what I mean? But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when more videos like this drop, and while you're at it, check out these other videos from our channel. Until next time, peace out.